The scent of damp earth and pine needles clung to me, a familiar comfort, as I locked the cottage door for the last time. My grandmother, Nora's home, a sturdy, unassuming box of wood, stood silent behind me, its porch swing still swaying faintly from an imaginary breeze. Each object inside, from the chipped ceramic mug on the kitchen counter to the faded quilt draped over her armchair, hummed with her presence, a quiet testament to a life lived simply, fiercely. My throat tightened, but a different kind of warmth spread through my chest, a quiet resolve. Seattle waited, a new beginning, entirely my own. I slid into my beat-up sedan, its engine a familiar purr, and turned the key. The narrow, winding road that led out of Cedar Creek stretched before me, a ribbon of asphalt unspooling towards an unknown future. My future. My hands gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. This was it. No more relying on anyone. No more living under the shadow of a past that wasn't entirely mine. Just me, Eleanor Vance, and the life I had carved out for myself. My foot pressed the accelerator, the tires crunching on the gravel drive. A sudden, jarring flash of silver in my rearview mirror made me flinch. Not one car, but three sleek black behemoths, gleaming like predatory fish, blocked my exit. My heart hammered against my ribs. What on earth? The lead car, a monstrous limousine, glided to a halt, its tinted window lowering with a silent, almost menacing hum. A woman emerged, her face a mask of frantic hope and despair, her expensive silk scarf fluttering in the breeze. Behind her, a man, equally distraught, his suit impeccably tailored, held a manila envelope. Eleanor? Eleanor Vance? Her voice, thin and reedy, cracked on my name. Two. I stared, bewildered. My hand instinctively went to the car door handle, ready to lock it. I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong person. The woman, her eyes wide and wet, pressed a hand to her chest. No, we don't. You're Annabelle. Our Annabelle. She took a tentative step forward, her gaze sweeping over me with an intensity that made my skin crawl. The DNA. It's conclusive. Please, darling, look at us. The man stepped forward, holding out the envelope. We've been searching for you for so long. Decades. Your grandmother, Nora, she never told us. His voice was deep, laced with a tremor. We just found out. We traced her. We found you. My mind reeled. Annabelle? My name was Eleanor. Always had been. Nora, my Nora, had been my world. My only family. She hadn't kept secrets from me, not like this. Had she? The manila envelope, crisp and official, felt like a foreign object, a bomb ticking between us. My grandmother raised me, I said, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. She was my mother, my father, my entire family. She's gone now. The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken grief. I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm Eleanor Vance. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. That life, whatever it is you're talking about, belongs to the past. My grandmother's love is my only inheritance. The woman, Mrs. Sterling, I assumed, gasped, a hand flying to her mouth. But darling, we can give you so much more. A life you deserve, a mansion, a trust fund, anything you could ever dream of. Her eyes pleaded, shimmering with unshed tears. I shook my head. A slow, deliberate movement. I don't want it. I don't need it. My voice hardened. I have a job, a life. I'm moving to Seattle. I'm a lead teacher at Academy Gate Preschool. My apartment is waiting. I looked past them at the road ahead. I've worked for everything I have. That's what Nora taught me. Mr. Sterling stepped closer, his face etched with pain. Please, just talk to us. Let us explain. Let us make up for lost time. I met his gaze, my own unwavering. I can't change who I am. You can't change it either. I paused, considering. The sheer desperation in their eyes was unsettling, almost unbearable. I'll agree to a formal, structured, weekly brunch visit. Sundays. That's it. On my terms. I looked from him to her. Do you understand? Mrs. Sterling nodded, a small, choked sound escaping her lips. Yes, yes, darling, anything. Just be a part of our lives. I'm Eleanor Vance, I repeated, a finality in my tone. Never forget that. The drive to Seattle was a blur, the landscape passing by unnoticed. My small, meticulously organized apartment, a beacon of independence, welcomed me with its quiet promise. I unpacked my few boxes, each item placed with deliberate care. My grandmother's worn copy of The Secret Garden, a gift from my 10th birthday, found its place on the small bookshelf. My life here, built brick by brick with my own hands, felt solid, real. My first week at Academy Gate Preschool was a whirlwind of glitter, sticky fingers, and the joyful chaos of young minds. The children, their eyes bright with curiosity, absorbed my attention completely. This was honest work, fulfilling work. Each small victory, a child mastering a new letter, a shy smile blossoming, filled me with a quiet satisfaction that no mansion or trust fund ever could. 2 Sundays, however, became a different beast. The Sterling mansion loomed, an imposing structure of glass and steel, a stark contrast to Nora's cozy cottage. The gates, wrought iron masterpieces, swung open silently as my modest sedan approached. A uniformed butler, stiff and formal, greeted me at the door. "Good morning, Miss Vance. The Sterlings are expecting you." His voice was smooth, practiced. The dining room, vast and opulent, felt like a museum exhibit. Crystal chandeliers dripped from the ceiling, their light reflecting off polished silver and gleaming china. Mr. and Mrs. Sterling sat at the head of the impossibly long table, their expressions a mixture of eagerness and trepidation. A young woman, perhaps a few years younger than me, sat opposite, her dark hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail, her eyes a startling shade of green. Chloe Sterling, their adopted daughter. "Eleanor, darling, you made it," Mrs. Sterling exclaimed, her voice a little too bright. She gestured to the empty seat beside Chloe. "This is Chloe, your sister." Chloe offered a tentative smile. "Hi." Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Hello, Chloe," I replied, my voice neutral. I took my seat, acutely aware of the chasm between us. The brunch, a lavish spread of exotic fruits, smoked salmon, and gourmet pastries, felt alien. I picked at a croissant, the richness of the food almost cloying. "We thought you might like this," Mr. Sterling said, pushing a velvet box across the table. "A little something to celebrate your arrival." I opened the box. Inside, nestled on a bed of satin, lay a diamond pendant, its facets catching the light, winking mischievously. It must have cost a fortune. I closed the box, pushing it gently back. "It's beautiful, but I can't accept it." My gaze met his. "I told you I don't need anything from you. My grandmother's love is my inheritance." Mrs. Sterling's face fell. "But darling, it's a gift. A welcome home." "My home is my apartment," I stated simply, "and I welcome myself there each night." Chloe shifted in her seat, her gaze darting between us. "It's really pretty though, Ellie. You should take it." "I appreciate the thought," I said, my voice softening slightly for Chloe, "but no thank you." The brunches continued, a weekly ritual of polite refusals and strained smiles. They tried with designer handbags, bespoke suits, even a new car. Each time, I declined, my resolve unwavering. The gap between our worlds widened with each rejected gift, a chasm of values they couldn't seem to bridge. Then came the Emerald City Charity Ball. "It's an important event, Annabelle," Mrs. Sterling had insisted, her voice taking on a rare firmness. "You simply must attend. As a Sterling." "Too," I conceded, knowing it was a battle I couldn't win without outright severing ties. The gown they chose, a shimmering emerald silk, felt like a costume, heavy and unfamiliar. The ballroom, a cavernous space draped in velvet and glittering with chandeliers, pulsed with the low thrum of conversation and the clinking of crystal. Women in gowns that cost more than my annual salary floated by, their laughter tinkling like wind chimes. Men in tuxedos, their smiles practiced, held flutes of champagne. I felt utterly, completely alienated. The air, thick with expensive perfume and ambition, choked me. I avoided the main dance floor, the swirling mass of bodies, and sought refuge in a quiet corner of a balcony overlooking the city lights. "Excuse me," I called to a passing waiter. "Could I trouble you for a cup of plain black tea? No sugar? No milk?" He looked surprised, then nodded. "Of course, Miss Sterling." I watched the city, a sprawling tapestry of light, unfold beneath me. My tea arrived, steaming gently, a small oasis in the desert of excess. I sipped it slowly, the bitter warmth a grounding presence. A plate of miniature desserts, an offering from a different waiter, sat untouched beside me. I selected a small, unadorned shortbread cookie, its buttery simplicity a stark contrast to the elaborate confections surrounding it. I ate it slowly, savoring the taste, finding genuine pleasure in its humble perfection. The ball continued, a cacophony of shallow conversations and forced smiles. I observed it all, a quiet, judgmental intensity in my gaze. So much glitter, so little substance. A voice, deep and resonant, startled me. "Enjoying the simple pleasures, I see." I turned, a slight frown creasing my brow. A man stood a few feet away, leaning against the balcony railing, his eyes, the color of warm amber, fixed on me. He was tall, impeccably dressed in a dark suit, but there was an ease about him, a lack of the preening self-importance I'd observed in others. His smile was genuine, a slight quirk of his lips. "There's integrity in simplicity," I replied, gesturing to my tea. "More than in all this, I think." My gaze swept over the ballroom. "Two," he chuckled, a low, pleasant sound. "I couldn't agree more, Julian Hawthorne." He offered a hand, his grip firm and warm. "Eleanor Vance." I didn't offer my sterling name. He didn't flinch. His eyes held a knowing glint. "I've heard of you, or rather, I've heard times about times you." He gestured to the shortbread. "That cookie, for instance. It speaks volumes." I raised an eyebrow, a flicker of amusement in my chest. "Oh? And what does it say?" "It says you don't need the flashiest dessert to find joy," he replied, his gaze direct. "It says you're an island of integrity in a sea of artifice. It says you're rather refreshing, Miss Vance." My cheeks warmed slightly. No one had ever described me that way. "And you, Mr. Hawthorne? What do you say?" "I say," he began, a thoughtful expression on his face, "that I'm intrigued, very intrigued." He paused, his gaze unwavering. "You're a sterling, yet you're not." My spine stiffened. "I am Eleanor Vance." He held up a hand. "No offense intended, just an observation. An interesting one." He pushed off the railing. "Perhaps we'll meet again, Eleanor Vance." He offered another smile, a genuine warmth in his eyes, then melted back into the crowd. The following Tuesday, I found myself perched precariously on a wobbly wooden ladder in the Seattle Public Historical Archive, surrounded by the comforting scent of old paper and dust. I was researching early childhood education theories, delving into the forgotten wisdom of pioneers, far removed from the glitz of the sterling world. A particular tome, heavy and bound in crumbling leather, eluded my grasp. I stretched, my fingers brushing against its spine, the ladder swaying alarmingly. "Whoa there," a familiar voice said, a hand steadying the ladder. "Careful, or you'll be making your own archival history." I looked down, startled, into Julian Hawthorne's amber eyes. "Julian!" A genuine smile escaped me. "What are you doing here?" He grinned, his presence a warm, unexpected intrusion in my quiet sanctuary. "Research, architectural history, and it seems, rescuing damsels in distress." He held out a hand. "Let me get that for you." I gratefully accepted his help, my fingers brushing against his as he retrieved the book. "Thank you. This place is a treasure trove, isn't it?" "Absolutely," he agreed, his gaze sweeping over the towering shelves. So many forgotten ideas, so much wisdom ignored in the rush for the next big thing. He leaned against a nearby shelf, the scent of old paper and his subtle, pleasant cologne mingling in the air. "What are you unearthing?" "Early educational theories," I explained, holding up the book. The foundational principles of how children truly learn, not just what's trending in pedagogical circles. He nodded, a thoughtful expression on his face. I understand completely. I'm looking at forgotten building techniques, the integrity of structure over superficial ornamentation. It's amazing how much we discard in the name of progress, isn't it? 2. It's a shame, I agreed, a sense of ease settling between us. To lose the essence for the veneer. We talked for what felt like hours, our conversation flowing effortlessly from education to architecture, from the value of things ignored by the mainstream to the pursuit of authentic craft. He listened with an intensity that made me feel truly seen, truly heard. A week later, I found myself sketching in a quiet corner of Volunteer Park, the crisp Seattle air invigorating. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy of trees, dappling the path. My pencil moved across the page, capturing the intricate details of a fern frond, its delicate structure, a marvel of nature. Mind if I join you? Julian's voice, a familiar comfort now, drifted over. I looked up, a smile blooming unbidden. Julian? Not at all. He settled onto the bench beside me, a sketchbook in his lap. I thought I might find you here. He gestured to my drawing. Beautiful. You have a keen eye for detail. And you? I asked, peeking at his sketchbook. He had already begun to render a preliminary architectural concept, clean lines and thoughtful spaces emerging from the white page. What are you creating today? Concepts for a community center, he explained, his gaze distant, envisioning his design. Something that blends seamlessly with the environment, uses natural light, and fosters connection, not just consumption. Integrity of craft, I murmured, recognizing his passion. He looked at me, a soft smile on his face. Exactly. The difference between simple perfection and flashy grandiosity. There's a quiet power in things made well, with intention, isn't there? There is, I agreed, my gaze returning to the fern. A permanence that money can't buy. Our conversations always seemed to return to this theme, this shared valuing of authenticity, of substance over show. He didn't question my choices, didn't try to persuade me to embrace the sterling world. He simply understood. One rainy afternoon, Julian found me in my favorite unpretentious tea stall, a cozy nook tucked away on a side street, its windows misted over, the air thick with the aroma of brewing leaves. I was nursing a cup of Earl Grey, lost in thought. Mind if I steal a few minutes of your time? He asked, his voice gentle. I looked up, surprised, then smiled. Please sit. He ordered a black coffee, then turned to me, his amber eyes serious. Eleanor, he began, his voice low, I have to ask, why do you persist? Why do you so fiercely hold on to this life, this simplicity, when an empire awaits you? I took a slow sip of my tea, the warmth spreading through me. The question, though expected, still carried a weight. Because this life, I began, my voice clear and steady, is times mine asterisk, every single piece of it. My apartment, my job, this tea, the quiet satisfaction I feel each day, I earned it. I looked at him, my gaze unwavering. I don't need their love to survive, and I certainly don't need their money to live. My voice hardened slightly. They took my childhood, Julian. They took away the chance to know my biological family, to understand my origins. A flicker of pain crossed my face, quickly masked. But Nora gave me something far more valuable. She taught me self-reliance. She taught me dignity. She taught me that true wealth isn't measured in dollars or mansions, but in the quiet pride of building your own world. I gestured around the small tea stall, then to myself. Everything I have, everything I am, this is my true wealth. He listened, his expression unreadable, his gaze fixed on mine. When I finished, a comfortable silence settled between us, broken only by the gentle clatter of cups from the counter. Then, he reached across the small table, his hand covering mine, a feather-light touch that sent a jolt through me. His thumb gently stroked my knuckles. Eleanor, he said, his voice a low rumble, I find your unwavering self-possession profoundly attractive. His eyes, warm and sincere, met mine. I'm not attracted to the sterling name or the sterling status you could have. I'm attracted to the fact that you rejected it, to the fact that you know who you are, independent of all of it. He squeezed my hand gently. You're real, Eleanor. And in a world full of artifice, that's everything. My breath hitched. A warmth spread through my chest, a feeling unlike any I had ever known. It wasn't the fleeting excitement of a new romance, but a deep, resonant recognition. He saw me. He truly saw me. Julian, I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. He smiled, a soft, tender expression that melted my defenses. I'm not trying to change you, Eleanor Vance. I'm just acknowledging your reality, and I find it utterly captivating. Our relationship deepened, a quiet, steady current flowing beneath the surface of our lives. We explored Seattle's hidden gems, debated philosophical texts over cups of tea, and shared the quiet joy of creating, he with his architectural designs, me with my sketches and lesson plans. Our love wasn't built on grand gestures or inherited wealth, but on shared values of intellectualism, simplicity, and a profound respect for hard work. The Sunday brunches at the Sterling Mansion continued, but something had shifted. Secure in Julian's love and in my own independence, my stance softened, imperceptibly at first. I still refused their lavish gifts, but the refusals were less sharp, tinged with a quiet grace. I didn't become Annabelle, but I allowed them glimpses into Eleanor's world, on my terms. We're going to the Woodland Park Zoo next weekend with my class, I mentioned one Sunday, casually. The children are learning about ecosystems. Mrs. Sterling's eyes lit up. Oh, darling, how wonderful! Could we come too? We'd love to see you in your element. I hesitated, then nodded. If you like. But it's a field trip, not a social call. You'll be helping chaperone. They came. Mr. Sterling, surprisingly agile, helped a group of 5-year-olds spot the elusive snow leopard. Mrs. Sterling, shedding her usual formality, laughed freely as a mischievous monkey tried to snatch her silk scarf. Chloe, her initial shyness gone, connected with the children instantly, her gentle nature shining through. They saw me, not as the lost Annabelle, but as Eleanor, the teacher, the woman who found joy in the small, honest moments. They saw my happiness, and slowly, gently, they began to respect my choices. My apartment remained my sanctuary. My teaching job, my passion. Julian and I built our future, not on an inheritance, but on a foundation of mutual respect, shared dreams, and the quiet, authentic life we chose together. We found our own kind of wealth, one that glittered with integrity, not diamonds, and it was more precious than any fortune.